Astrophysicist Jakub Prochaska from the Czech Republic finds himself awakening aboard his spacecraft, far away from the familiar confines of planet Earth. At the crack of dawn, his phone rings, and on the other end are the flight curator and his trusted confidant, Peter. Today, the people of Earth are eager to reach out to the legendary protagonist. The head of the Czech space program, Tuma, warmly welcomes the courageous pilot, who has been on a remarkable solo flight for an impressive 189 days. For the past 4 years, a captivating cosmic phenomenon known as Chopra's cloud has captured the attention of scientists and observers on Earth. Scientists assigned Jakub the task of studying the origin and composition of Jupiter. Soon he will have the opportunity to collect samples that could potentially unlock the enigmatic secrets of the cosmos. The captain finds himself with questions until a young girl unexpectedly shows empathy towards him, recognizing his profound loneliness in the vastness of space. However, Jakub confidently reassures her that her concerns are unfounded. Indeed, the intrepid explorer finds himself a staggering 500 million kilometers away from our beloved planet. However, fear not, for he has already conquered nearly half of this vast expanse and is on the cusp of making his triumphant return to Earth. In addition, his wife Lenka is always by his side, providing unwavering support. They stay connected through an advanced quantum communication system that surpasses the limitations of light speed. Jakub appears to be immune to feelings of loneliness. The TV show pauses for a commercial break, during which Jakub impassively promotes the products of a gum sponsor. However, the astronaut's expression quickly turns into a frown, revealing the exhaustion that has plagued him due to a lack of sleep. Meanwhile, on Earth, Lenka records a sad message to him, expressing her deep regret for the decision to leave him, as she feels she no longer serves a purpose in his life. However, the flight curator steps in and stops the file's transmission, instead transferring it to Tuma. On the ship, Jakub reluctantly fixes the toilet once more, expressing his frustration towards Peter, who is preoccupied with the malfunctioning cameras. He also observes the spaceman's fatigued appearance and suggests that he take some rest. Jakub is concerned about reaching out to Lenka, as she has been unresponsive to his calls. He assures him that he will investigate the cause behind her lack of response. In another attempt, Jakub plans to call his wife, but she is currently busy packing and is not available to answer his messages. Feeling down, Jakub seeks solace in sugary treats and attempts to find some rest, gazing at the cloud that is drawing near, belonging to Chopra. During the night, disruptive sounds emanate from the malfunctioning toilet, preventing him from getting any sleep. He wakes up feeling exhausted. As he gazes at his reflection in the mirror, he is startled to see peculiar movements beneath his skin, as well as tentacles emerging from his mouth. Jakub is filled with terror as he attempts to extract something from within himself, only to awaken abruptly. The day begins with a session on the treadmill, followed by preparations to equip the apparatus for sample collection. It's quite baffling that a significant number of the ship's cameras are currently malfunctioning, leaving the crew perplexed and searching for answers. He is deeply troubled by the fact that Lenka has yet to make contact. Out of nowhere, Jakub is startled by a mysterious voice that offers assistance, while Peter remains oblivious to any such occurrence. Indeed, it is possible that Jakub managed to intercept the transmission of the Korean mission, which began after the Czech one. However, it's important to note that the transmission did not use any Korean language. Afterwards, he shares that Lenka has gone to visit her mother, assuring that she will reach out to her husband upon her return. Jakub takes a moment to collect himself before resuming his tasks. While examining the compartments, an unexpected sight catches his attention, a massive, hairy spider lurking within one of them. He seals off the compartment and reaches out to Peter. Unfortunately, in this particular section of the station, the camera has been out of order for quite some time, leaving him with no visibility whatsoever. Jakub carefully opens the hatch and finds that the giant spider is still there. In addition, he initiates a dialogue by expressing that it has no intention of frightening humans. Next, the spaceman takes refuge in the airlock and notifies Peter of his intention to sanitize the spacecraft. He dons his spacesuit, utters the secret code to activate the system, and suddenly, a soothing foam envelops the vacuum of space, its hue reminiscent of a tranquil morning in the meadow where he and Lenka once strolled. However, after the cleaning is complete, Jakub emerges from the airlock. Nevertheless, the spider remains in its place. The message he receives informs him that the unusual disinfection the human arranged did not harm him, and it recommends he remove the spacesuit. There is no cause for concern. Jakub tries to make contact, but the spider manages to evade his grasp. It is advisable for the individual to refrain from engaging in such behavior, as it goes against the customs of their tribe. He explains that he came across Earth by accident. The Extraterrestrial has dedicated over 3 millennia to observing life on the planet and familiarizing itself with Earth's languages. Yet it remains perplexed by the enigmatic nature of the human soul. And when it encountered Yakub, it sensed his profound solitude and ventured to this place. In a state of disbelief, he seeks solace in the sleeping compartment, only to confront the vivid visions and sounds of his beloved wife. The next day, deep memories of his wife keep coming to him, and they don't leave him. As it happens, the spider becomes completely fascinated by him, and to his surprise, this strange emotion captivates him and causes him to display his human memories, his emotional challenges as his companion prepares to depart. Yakub attempts to decline assistance, but the spider remains unconvinced. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Lenka finds herself seeking refuge at her mother's home. She's expecting a child and needs the support of her loved ones during this crucial time. Close by is a boarding house where expectant mothers reside together, and she opts to stay there temporarily. The mother fails to comprehend her daughter's desire to leave her husband at this particular moment. At the station, the spider kindly requests a portion of the astronaut's food, and he graciously shares some chocolate nuts. The spider recalls its long-lost home as it relishes the flavor. His planet was utterly devastated by a ruthless enemy, forcing its inhabitants to flee into the vast expanse of space, where they embarked on a perilous journey of endless wandering. In this particular moment on the Earth, Tuma embarks on a journey to meet Lenka. She firmly believes that it is not the right time for her to separate from Yakub. Indeed, she was well aware of his eccentric nature. These qualities enable him to endure long periods of solitude. However, Lenka's pregnancy exacerbates her feelings of isolation. The spider shares with the astronaut the fascinating characteristics of Chopra's cloud, a collection of particles infused with profound wisdom. When Yakub asks about his age, he says he doesn't know, but believes that everything has a start and a finish, including the vast expanse of the universe. The spider takes Yakub on a trip down memory lane by revealing his very first date with Lenka. It was a moment filled with promise and excitement, as Lenka proposed the idea of always sticking together, and Yakub eagerly agreed. And he wonders why people make promises they can't fulfill. But Yakub is at a loss for an explanation. Lenka opens up to her mother about the challenges of single parenthood in the current setting of Earth, expressing her readiness to take on the responsibility. She will tell her daughter about her deep initial affection for her father, only to later realize her mistake. While at the station, Yakub finds himself pondering the spider's name and proposes the moniker Hanush. Hanush reminds him of his story, in which people regaled him with tales of a legendary craftsman from antiquity, renowned for his creation of intricate celestial timepieces. Regrettably, the king, consumed by jealousy and fearing his brilliance, cruelly commanded his eyes to remain permanently dark. The spider accepts this name. Afterwards, the spaceman indulges in the enchanting melodies of the opera Mermaid. The spider quickly showcases his evening with Lenka, as she surprises him by donning a Nyan outfit. However, he is reluctant to recall this. During the dark hours of the night, Yakub finds himself haunted by unsettling dreams once more. This time, the memories of his father, a staunch communist who tragically lost his life due to his unwavering convictions, plague his subconscious. However, the spider tries to calm him down with his words. Later, Hanush watches with surprise as Yakub engages in a vigorous workout. Yakub emphasizes the critical importance of performing tasks in space to prevent limb failure. Hanush is perplexed by the decision to leave his home planet. At the same time, Tuma pays a visit to Lenka. Tuma admits that his mental condition is not very good and that he needs her help. As she leaves, she says that the silence is the turning point for both of them. Silent, lost, and scared in the dark. They all have something in common between them, and the goal is for them to be able to endure. At the spaceship, Lenka's voice filled the entire space station. Yakub rushes to the transmitter, where he sees an old video of his conversation with Lenka from months ago. He tries to stop the video, but he can't. Moments later, a luminous particle, Hanush referring to it as the beginning, suddenly captures his attention. He tries to capture it in a jar, but the elusive particle effortlessly navigates through any surface it encounters. Abruptly, the ship's communication cuts off, leaving him in a state of confusion. To make matters worse, Chopra's particles begin to swirl chaotically throughout the ship. adding to the growing tension. Hanush comforts the person. At the outset, there's no danger to him, so there's no reason to be afraid. The next day, Hanush approaches him and asks why Lenka is so disturbed by the arrival of a child. A sense of apprehension tinges his emotions. Jakub reveals the heartbreaking truth about their first child, expressing his absence both during that difficult time and in the present. He is shown in the conversation where he made a promise to be present. The conversation reveals that Jakub promised to be present. After that, Jakub manages to reach Peter using a quantum phone. However, Hanush once again triggers his memories, revealing a poignant conversation between him and his wife about his space journey. He displayed an unwavering sense of self-assurance, completely disregarding any attempt to comprehend his spouse. It became clear to the spider that Jakub's self-centeredness was the root cause of his isolation. When this truth was revealed, Hanush became pessimistic towards him and decided to leave him. Since with his departure, he will be alone again, he becomes extremely anxious and worried. He attempts to capture the spider, but it firmly pushes against his neck, emphasizes that he does not like anyone to touch him. The spider releases him and gracefully glides to the opposite side of the station. Jakub anxiously follows him and promises to transform himself, willing to do anything to make him stay. He drifts weightlessly through the void, his thoughts consumed by memories of his wife. Overwhelmed by the profound sense of grief, tears stream down his face. Later, he calls Peter and asks him to meet Lenka. While she practicing yoga, Peter calls her and informs her that Jakub is still alive and wants to talk to her. He turns on the quantum phone and leaves the room. Jakub expresses his deep affection and humbly seeks forgiveness for his previous self-centeredness. He deeply regrets his past behavior and admits that he ignored her wishes and was unimportant to her, and ends the conversation with how sorry he is. After that, Hanush's voice greets him once more, urging him to get some rest, as he has now made amends for his guilt. Jakub pleads for companionship, and the spider confesses its own dread of being alone. However, to his dismay, he realizes that the spider is in poor health. Hanush confesses that, despite managing to flee from its pursuers, it was already too late. Spider is affected by his sad past, and suddenly they hug each other. On Earth, Lenka looks at the sky in the middle of the night, and while talking to one of the other pregnant women, she stares into the beauty of the purple masses in the sky. In the sky, however, Hanush wakes up Jakub and informs him that his great discovery is close. While the Czech space station and a large number of people are eager for these critical moments, Jakub prepares himself to enter the universe and coordinates with Peter to start the actions. On the other hand, Lenka leaves her residence and seems to be going somewhere. Later on, he starts gathering samples using specialized equipment, but unfortunately, the spider falls gravely ill. Jakub disregards his duty and makes an attempt to assist his new friend. There is a technical glitch with the equipment, prompting Earth to issue a command to halt the collection of samples. Jakub, on the other hand, is completely oblivious to his surroundings when he sees Hanush floating in the vast expanse of outer space. The ship experiences a series of system failures, prompting the control center to make the decision to abort the mission and initiate the return process. However, he bravely dons a spacesuit, grabs an antiseptic bomb, and ventures outside. Peter is completely baffled by the unfolding events and desperately implores his friend to go back to the spacecraft. Jakub, who is floating in space, finally manages to catch the spider after throwing disinfectant clouds. Hanush thanks, but unfortunately, his efforts are fruitless. He acknowledges that the destruction of his body is imminent, yet he still has some time left. Then, in deep space, Jakub recalls a memory from his youth, when he was drowning, but his father was able to save him. Hanush guides him towards the heart of the cloud, where all things converge. It serves as a repository for all historical events. Past and future, Jakub relives the moments of his life. He immerses himself in the layers and dimensions of time and place, displaying a sense of dispossession. Being in this unique situation takes him back to the past, where he first met Lenka and wishes he could always see her as she was then. In this unique beauty, a light appears that creates fear in him, but Hanush sees this light as hope for him and Lenka. In the last moments of Hanush's life, Jakub gives him a jar of chocolate nuts, which the spider feels at home by tasting. Gradually, his body decomposes from the inside, and the remaining purple lights cover him. As he approaches the light, Jakub passes out and faints. On the other hand, Lenka, who went to the location of her first date with him, noticed that while walking on the grass, a purple light appeared in front of her. which symbolized the hope between this couple. Jakub imagines that Lenka is sitting on a piece of wood in the river, like a mermaid. He wishes to kiss her, but she says that the price of this kiss may be death. Jakub accepts. At the same time, it turns out that the light was from the South Korean space station, which sent a space probe to save him. Near the morning, Lenka's quantum phone rings. Jakub admits that if he knew everything, he would never have left her, and their conversation ends with the hope of them kissing again.